My name is Steve Douthit. I'm a foot and ankle surgeon practicing in Eugene, Oregon. Today I'm going to present a first metatarsal phalangeal joint synthetic cartilage implant failure with revision using ArthroCell viable bone matrix. Initially, the patient presented to an outside surgeon complaining of pain at the first metatarsal phalangeal joint. Radiographs initially showed stage 2 to 3 arthritic changes of the first metatarsal phalangeal joint, and that initial surgeon noted less than 20 degrees of painful range of motion. That index surgeon discussed doing cheilectomy plus or minus synthetic cartilage implant with the patient. Intraoperatively, the surgeon decided to proceed with cheilectomy and synthetic cartilage implant replacement system. On the radiograph, you can see that the cartilage implant is well situated within the first metatarsal head. Approximately 10 months later, the patient presented to myself complaining of continued pain, decreasing range of motion, and she had failed physical therapy at this point in time. I did radiographs which found osteolysis surrounding the synthetic cartilage implant, collapse of the synthetic cartilage implant, and flattening of the metatarsal head. Additionally, the range of motion was negligible at this point in time, and the patient had pain with all weight-bearing activities. My plan for this patient was a revision first metatarsal phalangeal joint arthrodesis. Considerations I took into account were the possibility of infection because of the collapse of the first metatarsal head. I ended up doing lab markers including a CBC with diff, ESR, and CRP. Those came back normal. As far as surgical considerations, I had to take into account the loss of bone. My plan was for calcaneal autograft mixed with ArthroCell to try and bring in live viable cells and increase my fusion potential. I also had to consider my fixation options. In this instance, I was going to use the first metatarsal phalangeal joint low-profile fusion plating system, along with crossing 2.5 millimeter fully threaded compression screws as rebar. The reason I wanted to use ArthroCell is it has viable cells, including mesenchymal stem cells, osteoprogenitor cells, and Miami cells. The bone particulate in the middle is made out of both cortical and cancellous bone, and it acts as a scaffold. It also has a collagen carrier, which is bone-derived, and it allows the product to be moldable. As far as the surgery is concerned, I used an 8 millimeter trephine to harvest cancellous bone from the calcaneus. You can see on the right my collection. I then also used ArthroCell. You can see it was thawing on the left, and there's some ArthroCell there on the right. When I got into the first metatarsal phalangeal joint, there was noted to be quite a bit of periarticular fibrosis, scar tissue, and the joint was extremely stiff. I was able to remove the synthetic cartilage implant in total. You can see there on the bottom left. There was a large deficit in the first metatarsal head which needed to be taken into account. I ended up using cup and cone reamers on the proximal phalanx base in the first metatarsal head, and I also used a cone reamer for the first metatarsal head to remove the non-viable tissue and scar tissue that was left within the first metatarsal after implant removal. I then fenestrated our fusion site utilizing a 2.5 millimeter drill bit to incorporate further bony ingrowth. I started off by putting the autograft within the first metatarsal head for increased stability. The ArthroCell was then put between the first metatarsal phalangeal joint. I pinned the first metatarsal phalangeal joint in place utilizing guide wires for the 2.5 millimeter fully threaded screws. I then drove the screws across the joint, making sure not to actually compress the joint. I wanted to use it as rebar and to maintain length. I loaded the foot with an instrument tray cover, maintaining alignment of the first metatarsal phalangeal joint. Next, I reinforced the first metatarsal phalangeal joint fusion utilizing a low-profile first metatarsal phalangeal joint fusion set and locking screws. My postoperative protocol for this patient was non-weight bearing for 2 weeks, followed by protected weight bearing in a boot walker for an additional 4 weeks. She went on to obtain complete fusion, and at 6 months postoperative, the patient achieved complete mature union of the first metatarsal phalangeal joint. You can see our alignment on both the lateral and the AP views here. And this is the clinical picture of the patient's foot at 6 months postoperative. And the patient was able to get back to walking, hiking, and cycling pain-free. So in summary, this is a case highlighting the use of ArthroCell allograft with viable cells. Additionally, ArthroCell can be combined with PRP or bone marrow aspirate to further increase cell signaling. I also used a low-profile first metatarsal phalangeal joint fusion plating system and crossing 2.5 millimeter fully threaded screws in this case. Thank you.